Hello, dear friend. Welcome to Healing Pages channel, the safe haven where every page you turn brings you gently back to yourself. Today, I want to bring you a book that marked the beginning of something extraordinary. It's the debut work of Vex King, a book that didn't just change his life, but has deeply touched the lives of millions across the world. It's titled Good Vibes, Good Life. This isn't a book to rush through, or to shove away once you've grasped its message. It's not just another feel-good read meant to comfort you for a fleeting moment. No. This is the kind of book that asks you to pause, sit with yourself, slow everything down, and gently ask, am I truly living like I'm the most important person in my own life? Vex King's words act like a mirror, not to reflect your appearance, but to reflect how you see yourself, how you treat yourself, and how silently the pain of your past may still be shaping your sense of worth today. Healing, as Vex reminds us, doesn't have to come after pain. You don't have to break in order to learn how to love. He gently takes your hand, chapter after chapter, like a close friend walking beside you, whispering, hey, you weren't wrong for being vulnerable. You weren't unworthy because you once didn't know how to love yourself. But starting now, you get to try again, with kindness, and with strength. If you've ever felt exhausted by the noise of the outside world, the comparisons, the expectations, the definitions of what it means to live a good life, then this book may just be the place for you to pause, to breathe, to begin again, in your own way. Vex King wasn't born into ease. His childhood was marked by hardship, growing up in a disadvantaged neighborhood in the UK, grappling with loss, discrimination, and poverty. But rather than blaming the world, he chose a different path. He read, he learned, he meditated, he healed, and slowly, he rebuilt his life, starting with one powerful decision, to learn how to love himself. He's more than just an author. To millions of young readers, he's a soul companion, someone who writes with sincerity, clarity, and a grounded depth that resonates with the softest parts of who we are. He doesn't preach theory, he tells truth. He shares his lived experience, and that's exactly what makes his message so warm, so real, and so profoundly relatable. Good Vibes, Good Life was his first book, and it quickly became a global phenomenon, not because it promised to transform your life overnight, but because it quietly opens small doors within your soul, asking you, softly, to look inward, and to start loving yourself again, even in the tiniest ways. The book is divided into short, easy-to-digest chapters, each one simple in form, but rich in emotional insight. Each chapter is like a little mirror, helping you see parts of yourself you may have ignored, your unhealed wounds, your unfinished dreams. Vex writes with a soft, honest voice, the kind that doesn't overwhelm, but comforts. Reading his words feels like sitting across from a friend who doesn't lecture, but listens, shares, and helps you gently open your heart. If you've ever felt lost under pressure or buried beneath expectations, if you've ever thought you weren't good enough, pretty enough, smart enough, or worthy of love, then this book is for you. If you've been through a relationship that made you doubt yourself, if you've been hurt by the words of people you trusted, if you've ever asked, will anyone ever truly love me? Then this book is something you need to hold. If you're a young soul standing at a crossroads, looking for direction, hoping to break free from limiting beliefs and live a life that's truly yours, Vex won't promise to walk every step of the way with you, but he will offer a light, a spark, that helps you find your way. This book doesn't care where you're from, who you are, how strong or fragile you feel right now. As long as you are willing to return to yourself, to tend to your own cracks, to love with intention, and to begin again with purpose, with compassion, and with light, then this book is already yours. And now, let's walk through 5 powerful ideas from Good Vibes, Good Life. Ideas that might not just change how you see yourself, but how you begin to live from here on. The journey back to yourself begins with self-respect. Healing always starts with awareness. And the very first awareness, the one that matters more than any external validation or praise, is recognizing your own worth. Not through the eyes of others. Not through filters, achievements, or compliments. But through your own gentle gaze. The gaze of someone who's walked through quiet storms with you, day after day, and still chooses to stay. Vex King calls this self-respect. Not the loud kind that needs to prove itself. Not the kind that competes to be seen, but a quiet, steady, and deeply rooted energy. It's the kind of feeling that lets you look in the mirror and smile. Not because you're perfect, but because you know you're trying. You're trying to be kind, to be honest, to be better, for yourself. You don't have to become the better version of yourself in order to love who you are. In fact, it's the act of loving, respecting, and treating yourself with gentle care, even in your most vulnerable moments, that slowly shapes you into someone stronger, someone wiser, someone whole. And if right now, a voice inside you whispers, "I haven't done anything worthwhile," or "I've failed too many times," or even "I don't deserve love," then let this book speak for you. It reminds you that you don't need to earn love by being grand or flawless. Just by being you, with your cracks, your missteps, your silent ache, you are already worthy of love. When you begin to prioritize yourself, when you stop chasing the applause of the world, and start listening to your own voice again, something powerful begins to shift. Because, as Vex King beautifully writes, when you vibrate at the frequency of love and gratitude, you attract things that match that same frequency. And every change, every healing, every movement toward the light, begins in that single moment when you finally say, "I deserve a better life, and I won't wait for someone else to give it to me. I will create it for myself." Self-love is not a trend. It's the foundation of a meaningful life. We hear it everywhere. Love yourself. Printed on coffee mugs, written in cursive beneath sun-drenched selfies, echoed in captions that disappear in 24 hours. But Vex King asks us to go deeper. He reminds us that self-love is not a hashtag, not a fleeting mood, not a cute excuse to avoid hard things. Self-love is the core from which all meaningful, lasting experiences of life are built. Because if you don't truly love yourself, not pretend love, not disguised love, then no relationship, no job, no level of success will ever feel enough. It might look good, it might even make others envious, but inside, there will still be a void, and that void cannot be filled by the outside world. Self-love is not about buying bubble tea when you're sad, or binge-watching dramas and calling it healing. True self-love is being able to look at the darkest parts of yourself and say, "I see you. I'm not perfect, but I won't leave myself behind." It's knowing how to say no, even when it's uncomfortable. It's walking away from what hurts you, even when you've stayed too long. It's setting boundaries, not to push people away, but to honor the space you need to stay whole. Self-love also means not forcing yourself to be cheerful all the time. It means allowing yourself to be tired, to be sad, to be messy, without giving up. Because as the author reminds us, self-love is not a destination you reach once and for all. It's a decision you make over and over again. To choose yourself. To live truthfully with your emotions. To show up fully for the life you've been given. And the most magical part is this. When you begin to love yourself, truly and gently, you don't just change your inner world, you change how the outer world responds to you. Because no matter how chaotic the world is, it will always reflect back what you believe about yourself. So choose to love yourself, not because someone told you to, but because you, in all your honesty and humanity, deserve to live with a full heart. A heart that doesn't chase love or borrow it, but creates it, from the inside out. Letting go to move forward. Only a light heart can truly fly. Life gives us no shortage of things that hurt. A relationship we thought would last forever. A careless word that echoed too long. or a quiet disappointment from something we once held with such high hopes. And so, we carry these things with us, like treasures of pain, afraid that if we let go, we might lose a piece of our story. But Vex King reminds us, letting go is not forgetting, it is freeing. You can't expect to run toward the future while dragging a suitcase full of unresolved memories. You can't hold on to the past and still ask life to feel light and joyful. When we suppress old emotions, when we refuse to release what has already passed, those emotions slowly turn into a hidden weight, stealing the joy from our present moments. Letting go doesn't mean you deny what happened. It simply means you choose the most courageous thing you could possibly do for yourself, to release what no longer nourishes your spirit, and make space for light, for healing, and for gentleness to return. Forgiveness, Vex says, isn't a gift you give to someone else. It's a gift you give to yourself. Because you don't need to carry anger, resentment, or heartbreak with you any longer. They are not who you are, they don't define you, and they no longer deserve to stay. And if right now, you still find it hard to let go of a person, a mistake, or an outdated version of yourself, that's okay. Letting go is not a finish line, it's a journey. And sometimes, all it takes is a quiet moment of truth when you finally say, I don't want this pain to hold me hostage anymore. And in that moment, you've already come so far. You don't need to rewrite the past to earn your right to move forward. You just need to love yourself enough to know, you deserve a new chapter. One filled with softness, with peace, and with a version of you that feels lighter, stronger, and brighter. Energy is sacred. You deserve better. And you are allowed to choose. Life is not just a story of what we do. It's a story of what we allow to enter our inner world. Every day, we cross paths with all kinds of people, emotions, and energies. Some lift us up, others drain us without a sound. And if we're not careful, we begin to carry energies that were never ours to begin with, cluttering the space inside us where joy and clarity once lived. Vex King says it clearly. You have the right to choose the energy you allow in. You have the right to say no to anything that makes you feel small, exhausted, or anxious. That isn't selfish. That's maturity. You don't have to stay in conversations that strip away your hope. You don't have to maintain relationships that leave you feeling worse every time you connect. You don't have to shrink yourself to fit into rooms that never honored your presence. Because every time you absorb negativity without conscious awareness, you unknowingly let the dust of the world cloud your spirit. And one day, you might look in the mirror, and struggle to recognize who you've become. So be mindful. Listen to your intuition. If something makes you feel disconnected from yourself, step back. If someone keeps hurting you, with words, with silence, with indifference, allow yourself to walk away. Even if it's only in your heart. Even if it's only to protect your peace. You were not born to please everyone. You were born to be the most compassionate companion to your own soul. So choose wisely. Choose what uplifts you. Choose the people who make you feel lighter. Choose the quiet path that still honors your loudest truth. And above all, remember this. You deserve better. Not because you have to earn it. Not because you need to prove yourself. But because you are always enough. Once you believe that, the world will begin to reflect that belief back to you. Becoming your own safe place. Peace is a choice, not a prize. We often believe peace is something that arrives once life becomes smooth, when the job is secure, the relationships are perfect, when the storms finally stop. But Vex King reminds us gently. Peace is not what happens when life is quiet. Peace is what happens when you are strong enough not to be swept away by the noise. Real peace is when you can sit in the center of a chaotic day and still whisper to yourself, I'm okay. It's when you understand that the world may never be completely kind, but you can be kind to yourself anyway. It's when you stop waiting for someone else to save you, and start learning how to be your own shelter. We all long for a safe place, but sometimes, that place isn't a person. It's not a hug. It's not a perfectly timed conversation. Sometimes, that place is you. Your voice, soft but steady. Your heart, tender enough to forgive. Your mind, clear enough to guide you away from what hurts. The most beautiful part of learning to love yourself is not when you can smile brightly in a crowd. It's when you can sit quietly with yourself and feel whole. Not empty. Not lacking. Not in need of anything to complete you. The author never promises that this journey will be easy, but he believes, with every fiber of his being, that when you choose love, when you choose patience, when you choose to treat yourself with care, the world begins to change. Your energy shifts. The opportunities you attract begin to align. And the relationships that remain will be the ones that reflect your worth. And in the end, the most miraculous thing is not that the world changes because of you. It's that you changed your entire world. By coming home to yourself. By healing. And by becoming the safest, warmest place your soul could ever rest in. A gentle ending. The journey back to loving yourself. Sometimes, in the rush of modern life, we forget something incredibly simple, yet deeply essential. We forget to ask ourselves, who am I really? What am I living for? And have I ever truly treated myself with the same kindness I keep wishing others would offer me? Good Vibes, Good Life by Vex King doesn't shout. It doesn't paint a picture of perfect happiness or try to convince you that life will always be easy. Instead, it speaks in quiet truths. It reminds us of things that are soft, familiar, and often forgotten. That you are allowed to feel tired. You are allowed to slow down. You are allowed to be imperfect. And most of all, you are allowed to love yourself, even if you're still a work in progress. Because every time you choose to nurture your own soul, you are also learning to rebuild the world around you. A world that might still have rainy days, but now you'll know how to carry your own umbrella. A world that isn't always soft, but you'll learn how to be soft with yourself. And that changes everything. Self-love isn't a destination. It's a choice. A choice you make again and again. When you wake up, when you feel alone, when you fail, and even when you shine. Don't wait for everything to be perfect before you start living gently with yourself. Begin now. Begin with gratitude. Begin with forgiveness. Begin with the warm embrace you give to your own heart. The one that's always been waiting for you to return. And if, along the way, you've forgotten how to love yourself, I hope this video has been a soft touch on your heart. A quiet reminder that you deserve tenderness. You deserve peace. You deserve to come home to yourself. Leave a comment and let me know. Have you ever let go of something in order to heal? Or are you learning, right now, to choose yourself in a world that constantly asks you to choose others first? If this message spoke to you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone you care about. Because maybe, just maybe, they too are waiting for a gentle reminder that to truly love life, you must first learn how to love yourself.